We had 45-70 himself. I actually live scored this fight to Gunnar Nelson, but I said it was very fucking close, and I really wasn't sure. I was kind of more just hoping Gunnar Nelson would win, because I really wanted to see Kevin Holland get cut from the UFC, because he probably would have if he was 1-4 in his last 5 fights. It actually might be even worse than that. Let me see if it's even worse than that. I think it might be worse than 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He would have been 1-5. He was already 1-4 in his last 5 fights. But now he's 2-4. He arguably should have been 1-5. But Gunnar Nelson didn't quite do enough. He fucking brought the battle to him and made it a very, very tough fight. Almost got finished in the first round, but the buzzer saved Gunnar Nelson there. After he mauled Kevin for the entire round, that was the round that I gave Gunnar Nelson. And then the second and third were closer and harder to score. Evidently, they gave Holland the second and third round, I believe. So it is what it is. I don't have much to say about it because it wasn't that fun of a fight. It was okay. Gunnar Nelson just spent a lot of time on top of Kevin Holland. Holland just constantly tried to throw up arm bars and omoplatas and arm triangles from his back. They never worked. Some of them got kind of close, but not really. There was at one point, Gunnar Nelson, I think in the third round, got really close to getting a rear naked choke in on Kevin Holland. Maybe it wasn't a rear naked choke, but I believe it was. I think he had a body triangle locked in on him. And that was I'm thinking of Sean Brady that got the body triangle, but he was really close to getting that choke on Kevin Holland in the third round. Didn't quite get it. Kevin Holland gets a decision. It's a very close fight. Is what it is, though. I kind of hope Kevin Holland gets a really tough matchup and loses next time. He's back at 170, which is why I'm not really that surprised that he won this fight, because he should win this fight, because he's a 170 pounder. He does not belong at middleweight, yet he insists on fighting at middleweight all the time. You're a fucking 170 pounder. I've said this many times, I'll say this again. You are middleweight height. You are middleweight reach, but you are not middleweight size at all. You are really tall and skinny. Really tall and skinny. If you can make the weight cut to 170, you should never be fighting 15 pounds up at middleweight unless you're permanently moving there and gaining weight, or you're doing a double champ opportunity and you're ready to risk being the smaller guy. You understand? You should not be fighting in 2 weight classes back and forth like you do Kevin Holland when they're 15 pounds apart and you are losing all the time in one of them. To be fair, he loses all the time in both of them. He's lost to Brunson, Vettori, Dolidze, and Derrida in middleweight. And that's 4. And at welterweight, he's lost to Chimaev, Wonderboy, JDM, and MVP. You could argue that Chimaev is an 85er now, so maybe you count that as you've lost to 5 85ers and 3 170 pounders. But still, and he lost to Brendan Allen as well. And Thiago Santos. What the fuck, bro? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 losses at middleweight, dog. And only 4 at welterweight. And one of them is a middleweight, so it's arguably 7. He's got 10 losses in the UFC. 7 of them are middleweights or someone who moved to middleweight after being at welterweight. One of them, Khamzat Chimaev. The other 3 are MVP, which is a really hard matchup. That's fine to lose. Annoying, but still. JDM, who's a fucking incredible boxer and just, to be honest, took it to you and beat you in your own game. And that's tough to accept, but it is what it is. And Wonderboy, who you decided to fight in his world, which was dumb as fuck. At welterweight, besides Chimaev, who is arguably a middleweight now anyway, you haven't had a bad career. And you haven't been finished. You retired against, you gave up on the stool against Wonderboy. You lost a decision to MVP and JDM. But at middleweight, you've lost by a choke to Rainer Derrida, injury to Dolidze, who grappled fucked you, choke to Khamzat Chimaev, it was at 170, but 185, but in round 1, Das choke. You got decisioned by Brunson and Vettori, and you got rear naked choked by Brendan Allen, and you got decisioned by Thiago Santos. It's just fucking stupid, to be honest. To me, it seems really fucking stupid as to why he's 14-10, and so many of those losses are at middleweight, man. Just stay at welterweight, dog. That's where you belong. Anyway, that's about it. I hope he loses his next fight because I want him to be humbled and realize he's not a good fighter because he thinks he is, and he couldn't even finish Gunnar Nelson when he knocked him down and almost knocked him out in this fight. The bell saved him, I'll admit that, but still, you fucking knocked him down badly. and couldn't finish him. And that's just kind of annoying. And then you still go on to act like at the end of the fight, he goes, I am a 170 pounder, this is my division, but if anybody wants to strike with me at 185, let me know. But those guys that grapple up there are just too heavy, man. They're just too big. They're too big because they're not your size, because you're not a 185er. You fucking imagine if someone said, hey, I'm a 185, I fight at 185 because I can use my abilities up here good, but I'll only go to 170 if someone wants to grapple with me. Because if you're going to strike with me, like, those guys have got too much light man skill in the grappling department, I just can't keep up with them. So if you want to grapple with me at 170, let me know, but otherwise I'm going to stay at 185. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fucking disgrace to the sport. Shut the fuck up and fight in your weight class. It's just retarded. And he acts like he's good and just doesn't try sometimes and has just had bad decisions in his career. Nah, bro, you quit constantly and you make bad career decisions constantly. And you need to stop. This is the beginning of you stopping. You should continue to stop. Fight 170 pounders. Strike with them. Stop trying to throw up submissions off your back all the time if you could get up instead. Get the fuck up. You're not going to submit Gunnar Nelson off your back. He picked you up like a backpack, like a handbag. When you had him in an omoplata, his arm could have snapped in half, yet instead he picked you up with it. At that point, stop going for submissions. You got Michael Olajaychek with a submission, an armbar. You choked out Michael Chiesa, who gave up and tapped. And other than that, Tim Means. Oh no, he tapped out Tim Means. Oh no, and that was, yeah. I'm done talking about this fight. Let me know in the comments what your favorite fight of this card was. For me, it's got to be Lonier Kavanagh versus Felipe Dos Santos, and if it's not that one, actually no, it's not. You know what? It's not Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. I loved that fight, man. That was so fucking entertaining to watch. So that's my favorite fight, and then Kavanagh versus Santos is my second favorite, obviously. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next mixed martial arts video. Goodbye.